So we know interest rates are rising, right? So myself, I'm in contract on a couple of different investment properties right now. I'm still out buying despite the market conditions. Actually, it's an opportunity for investors. And when I got to the point of finding out what my interest rate would be on one of these properties, a duplex, I was told that it would be 8.5%. And I about fell over. 8.5%, that's nuts, right? And she explained to me that, well, you could pay points, get that down to, 7.5, 7.1, and there was a lot of strategies around that, but it was going to be expensive on the point side. So when we're having this conversation, buyers like myself are going to immediately think, boy, if I'm going to pay that kind of points, I want somebody to share that cost with me. Who do you think it's going to be? It's going to be the seller. If the sellers are going to want top dollar, like these investment property owners do, of course, they might have to participate in paying some of these points to get the interest rates down to a point which makes it attractive for a buyer. For instance, for me, based on this investment, where I'm putting 25% down, at an 8.5% interest, it would be a negative cash flow right going into the property. So I had to say, hey, wait a second, we're going to have to re-strategize our equation here to make this work. And we can still make it work, but we all got to work together. We've got to be creative in how we approach it. So why I bring this up is we need to start preparing sellers that it's highly likely that in today's market environment that buyers are going to come to the table and they are going to say, hey, I need you to participate in paying down the points so I can get an interest rate that's reasonable that I can afford, maybe paying closing costs, paying some kind of credit into the transaction so that the transaction can go forward. If a seller's not willing to do that, then it's what we call price or terms, right? If you want the top price, you're going to have to give up something. You have to play a little ball here in participating in the credit situation in order for buyers to have a reasonable interest rate so they can actually afford the home and they can afford the payment on what you're asking for, or you have to reduce your price to compensate on the other side for the same exact thing. Interest rates are eating into buying power, and it's making homes less and less affordable because more of that money is going to the bank and not to the seller. So these are some things that we should strategize. Now, how would that conversation look when I'm sitting with the seller? What exactly would I say? I'm going to give you a quick script right here, which is pretty easy, and it hopefully will open some of the seller's minds. So you say, hey, as you probably have noticed, the mortgage rates across the country have been changing rapidly. I'm sure you've been watching the news. Put it in perspective, back at the beginning of the year in January, interest rates were in the 3% range. They've just climbed up above 7% in some cases. We're seeing 7, 7.1, 7.25, and they're likely to probably go higher before they go lower. So I want to prepare all my clients, including you guys, for the fact that when we have a buyer, it's highly likely they're going to come in and ask for us to help pay some of those lender closing costs and maybe buy down the interest rate. And what that means is that the buyer can actually get a lower interest rate if they pay what's called points. And points are just a percentage point of the loan amount so that you can buy that rate down so it can get to a more reasonable level where people can afford the payment. If we don't agree to do that, it's going to be more challenging to find a buyer. In fact, it can be a part of our marketing to incentivize buyers to look at our home. So, might be something to think about. We just put a rat out on front. That way, hey, we're willing to pay 3 points towards buyer closing costs, 4 points towards buyer closing costs. Yes, it's going to cost us a little bit of money, but it's also going to incentivize buyers to look at your home over the 30 other properties they have to choose from. That's how we make it work for us. We talk about it in a marketing perspective. Guys, I hope that helps you. If you like what you're hearing and you want to have better strategies coming into this challenging market, come over and see us over at eRealEstateCoach.com. We've got a product over there called the Path Coaching Platform. It's 20 straight weeks of lead generation coaching paired with hundreds and hundreds of downloads. You can use scripts and texts and emails and letters and campaigns that can help you drive more business to your bottom line. We need it right now. You need it right now. First 2 weeks is absolutely free. Plus, we give you 3 live coaching sessions every single week. Guys, I hope to see you over there soon. Have a great day. Good selling.